Okay, I think this thing's running. So, we went through the first 4 exercises of the 8 pieces of Brocade. Okay, so we did our raise the heavens. Okay, we did our draw the bow. Okay, we did our split heaven and earth. Okay, and we did our owl seeks, turning the head. Okay, this fourth one is called tiger shakes its tail. And it's basically done like this. I put my feet out about double shoulder width apart, and I'm going to get back into that same horse stance that I was in when I drew the bow. Okay, so the horse stance again from the side looks like this. My butt, my spine straight down. Okay, my knees are bent, but I don't have my knees bent over the front of my foot. Okay, if anything, I'm aligning with my heel. Okay, and my groin, my pelvis is tilted forward. Okay, so I'm kind of tucked under like this. My tailbone is tucked underneath. Okay, now from here, I'm going to show you the traditional way to do this, and then I'm going to show you the way it's modified. The reason we modify it, especially for Parkinson's disease, is because one part of it involves going really low like this. And traditionally for folks with orthostatic hypertension or any kind of hypotension, or any kind of low blood pressure situation when they get out of a chair, we don't want to take the head and put it much below the chest. Okay, so I'm going to show you an alternate way to do it, but for the sake of consistency, or authenticity, I should say, I'm going to show you the traditional way. Okay, so I have my hands on the inside of my thighs like this. Okay, now you can put them on your knees. You just want to be mindful of that kind of thing. Okay, I don't want to slip off. And you can put them on your hips. You can come up a little higher if you can't quite get down there that low. That's okay. But traditionally, I've got my hands like this. And what I do is I turn those hips. Okay, I turn that whole torso, my whole spine, turn to one direction. Okay, and then I lean down and I lower myself as much as I can, and I come back up to the base. Now what that looks like from the side, okay, is I turn, I come down as low as I can, almost like I'm trying to brush the bottom, the carpet or the floor with my forehead. Okay, so I'm trying to get nice and low. Okay, so when I do this, okay, I'm keeping that consistency here. Okay, I'm keeping this framework. This framework is what keeps me steady. So I turn, I dip down, and as I come up to this side, I remember to reset and face this direction. So the beginning of the movement is always a twist to one side, and then down, and then back up. And then a twist to the other side, and down, and come back up. Now the breathing is a little bit more complex in this one, okay, because it's kind of a half and half. So what that looks like is this, okay? So I breathe in as I turn. I continue to breathe in as I go down. Once I reach that maximum point where I'm at the lowest of the ground, I start to exhale until I'm returned to the original position. So it looks like this. So it's basically a half split, okay? The inhale as I turn, half inhale as I come down, and then exhale as I come back up, okay? So together again, inhale on the way down, exhale as I come back and reset. Turn to the other side, inhale, exhale, reset. The turn is part of the inhale. Inhale, inhale, exhale. Come on, back up. Let's do one more. Okay, now The modification for this, okay, if you don't want to dip that head down, it's the same idea, okay, same positioning. Okay, these legs come out, okay, so I'm in that horse stance. And this one just looks like this, okay? I turn and I lean over my shoulder and I return. Now, if you look at me from the side, okay, I'm trying to keep my spine straight. I'm not trying to bow in like this, okay? So I'm trying to keep that spine nice and straight. There's that angle there, okay? So turn, twist, look over my shoulder, back to center. Turn, twist, over my shoulder. So exhale as I twist, inhale as I return. Okay, so the modification when I do this, I'm still involving, this is involving my low back, right? This is involving that twist right in here. Okay, this is more of an upper twist, but it accomplishes the same task. So I inhale and a twist coming from here, okay? Twist, turn over my shoulder. So I'm not just turning my head, okay? I'm turning my whole torso and my hips and returning. So from here too, twist and return. Okay, and that's called Tiger Shakes Its Tail. Okay, now this next one has the very original name of Touch the Toes. So it's like all poetry and then they come down to the basics. Okay, so this one also, I'm coming down and I'm working on lowering myself below that sort of solar plexus level. So again, if you have any kind of issues with dizziness or low blood pressure or anything like that, please be careful. Okay, I'm going to show you a modification for it too. Okay. So it looks like this. I start up just like this, and like I'm diving into a pool, okay? So I'm going to fold down like this, okay? Now, there's an idea in martial arts that there's two waists, okay? The traditional waist that we know is right here at the hips, but the second waist is right up here, okay? And that allows rotation from the shoulders and the chest. So in other words, I could have my hips, my lower waist facing forward, but I could use my upper waist, okay? The best example of this is if you're driving a car and you reach behind you to grab something that's on the other seat, okay? That's probably the best example of using that upper waist, okay? So in this case, we're using the upper waist. So I'm going to come up like this, and then I'm going to fold down, okay? But the fold is coming from the shoulders. It's not coming from the waist. So when I fold down, it's not like this, okay? It's like this, okay? Hopefully you can see that. So also to show you the movements, because the camera's a little off here, okay? So it comes up just like I'm doing this, okay? My hands are faced forward, and then I dip, I curve here, okay? I curve that upper waist, and I come down, okay? The final position I want to be in from here, okay? I want to come up, and again, not at the waist, okay, at the upper waist, curving those shoulders until my head and my shoulders are facing down, and this is the uppermost point of my body, okay? From here, I want to do some pulses, and what that means, I want to reach one hand down, and then I want to reach the other hand down, okay? So it looks like this from the front, okay? I'm coming down, and I create these pulses, so one hand elongates, the other one doesn't even retract, it just sort of stays where it is, okay? But it looks like it does. So I have one hand reach, the other hand reach, 1, 2, 1, 2. You can do as many as you want. Most people do anywhere from 8 to 10. That's a good number. 6 to 8 is usually sort of the medium, like in between. So I can do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, okay? Now I'm moving my hips a little bit, but most of this is the shoulder blades, okay? Most of this is trying to work those shoulders, okay, and loosen those up a little bit, okay? So that's the first part, is that dive, and then this, okay? And then the next part is I come down and I grasp my toes, okay? I'm going to actually move this so you guys can see my feet a little bit. Hang on. Let's see if this works or if I crash my computer. Okay. So, Can I see my feet from here? Okay, so it looks like this. I came down. Okay, I've got that nice hump right here, that nice bow in my shoulders. Okay, I loosened up those shoulders and then I come down and I want to grasp the insides of these feet. Okay, so it looks like this. Looks like the insides of the feet. Okay, so I'll have 4 fingers there. Now, if you can't do this, you can easily grab the inside of your knees. You can grab your toes. If you're worried about getting dizzy, you can look at the horizon instead of looking down. Okay, but when I get down here, I want to shake those hips. So I want to turn my butt and I want to push it out to the side. And then I want to do the same thing on the other side. So I want to push out and push out and push out. So as opposed to this, with the shoulders, we're now doing the same thing with the hips. Pushing out, pushing out, pushing out. So from behind, it looks like this. Okay? Pushing that hip out, pushing that hip out. So I'm moving those hips from side to side to try and work it out. Okay? So, again, from the top. Inhale, coming up. Exhale. Come down. Do our little pulses. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Come on down. Grasp the toes. Kick those hips out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. At which point, big up. And I'm back to that position that I was in before. So, let me show you everything at once. Okay, I think that should be good. All right, so again, this one's a little more complex, but it's not as complex as the bow, so you should be able to adopt it pretty quickly. Okay, so here I am. Okay, I'm going to come up. Big inhale. I have my first exhale as I dip, and again, that fold comes from here, not here. Okay, so I fold until my arms and my face are parallel to the ground, and then I'm going to do my pulses. 1, 2, and there's just regular breathing here. 4, 5, 6. Then another exhale. As I lower down. And once I grab these feet, regular breathing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Big inhale as I come back up. Exhale as I dive. Inhale, exhale as I do this. Exhale as I reach and grab those toes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And inhale as I come back up, okay? The modifications on this, in case I don't want to go all the way down, can look like this, okay? So I can do my dive, okay? So my dive from here, okay, as opposed to from here, okay? I can come down, and I can just put my hands like this. I don't have to bend myself so far, okay? Just so my arms are a little bit out ahead of me, okay? And my chin is pointed internally towards my chest, okay? And I can do my rotations like that, okay? And then from here, I can come down to my knees, okay? And I can shake those hips out like that, and I can keep my eyes on the horizon line without having to risk coming all the way down and potentially getting dizzy when I come back up, okay? So the modification would look like this. Come up. Let those hands drop. Let that chin drop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Come on down, bend those legs, put those hands on the inside of the thighs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and back up. Okay? So that is touch the toes. So that's the big elaborate Chinese one, okay? The next one is called fist with tiger's glare, or fierce punching, or tiger shoots, actually I don't remember the other one, but it's gaze fiercely, punch and gaze fiercely, that's the other one. So the punching part is pretty straightforward, okay? So I'm back in that bow stance, okay? So we do 3 moves with this bow stance, okay? So we should know it pretty well by now. And I've got these hands chambered, and what chambered means is they're up like this towards my chest, towards my armpit, and they're cocked back, okay? So that elbow is going to drive forward, okay? Wow, that's where that power comes from, okay? So these hands are chambered. I make fists like this, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that fist out. Now, like all boxing, like all the stuff that we do in Rocksteady, okay, it's all these two fingers right here that lead the punch. Okay, so, and I'm punching to the center line. I'm not punching off to the center. I'm not punching out to an angle. I'm punching right along this center line here. So I punch into the center and I return. Punch into the center and I return. Punch into the center and I return. Okay, now I want to stay good and low. I want to feel that tension in my thighs. Okay, is the breathing. Inhale as I retract. Okay, now that's the gross physical movement and the breathing. So the real part about this is the E, the mind, the intention, okay? So the gaze fiercely part is you want to use that gaze, okay? And it's a focused gaze. It's a laser-like focus, okay? It's like when a hawk, you see a hawk circling and then all of a sudden they dive down. There's that laser-like focus. They're completely directed on the prey. Boom, they snatch it out of the water, right? The best example I've seen about this is a tiger. Right, if you ever see a tiger prowling, right, it's just looking straight ahead. The tiger is not malicious. It isn't angry. It isn't evil. It's focused on what it does. It's focused on its prey, okay? And so the martial aspect of this was designed to kind of build martial power and designed to kind of, bring people up to that fighting level, right? So the idea is when I gaze fiercely, I'm not angry, okay? I'm not trying to be pissed off. I'm not like, giving the stink eye or the evil eye or anything like that. I'm just trying to focus like a tiger would focus, okay? Like a threat has approached or a prey has approached and I'm focused on getting to that target, okay? So what that means is I'm focusing everything through my eyes, okay? It's a laser-like focus, okay? And as I breathe, okay, I'm focused. And it's a 1,000-yard stare. I'm not looking at the wall in front of me. I'm looking through the wall, through the apartments, through the forest, through down the street. My gaze penetrates everything that it comes in contact with, okay? So it's a bit of an esoteric thing, but once you sort of get that focus, you'll see that it kind of marshals your energy, all right? So here I am, okay, and again, that focus is down the line, so and again, that laser-like focus coming down, channeling through. So when I hit, I'm not hitting here. I'm hitting all the way down the street, okay? I'm really trying to aim that target all the way down as much as I can, okay? So that is punch and gaze fiercely, okay? So the last one, it's like they had these beautiful ones and then the last four, they were kind of like, call them whatever, okay? So this is called raise the toes, or raise up on the toes, depending on how you are. So I'm going to hook the angle up on this guy real quick, just so I can show you the mechanics of it, okay? Everyone can see my feet, I hope. All right, so the idea of this is pretty straightforward. I'm going to rise up on my toes. I'm going to hold there for a second. When I come down, I'm going to come down in a couple of stages. So I'm going to come down halfway and then all the way. So what that looks like from the side, okay, as I come up on those toes, those heels are raised, okay, and then I come down about halfway and finally all the way, okay. The main reason that we don't come down all the way is this, okay. Now, not only does that shake the whole apartment and whatnot, but I'm on carpet. If I were on concrete or wood or the earth, it creates quite a big shock. That's why I don't teach Chen-style Tai Chi, because it's a lot of this kind of stuff, a lot of pounding, okay, and it can be tough on the joints, and it shakes through. It's like a ripple in a pond. So if I'm too aggressive like this, it can shake up all through the body and cause all kinds of problems, including just basic pain. So we don't want to have to worry about that. So when I come in, so that's the first part. The first part is to protect injury. The second part is to develop control. Okay, so I come up onto those toes, and this one's hard. Okay, this is probably the hardest one to do for people who have issues with their balance. Okay, but this one, if you work at it, will definitely increase your balance. All right, and now I come down about halfway and then all the way on the ground. Okay, so you'll notice when I rise, I'm not leaning up, okay? I'm not leaning back, okay? I'm ramrod straight. I lift straight up, okay? And then I come about halfway and then all the way. So when I lift, I'm lifting kind of like from the waist, from the torso. So I'm lifting up, coming down, coming all the way down, okay? Now, again, this exercise is easily done with a chair. Okay, so don't feel like you need to just work on your balance on your own, okay? So if you feel uncomfortable, okay, or you feel like you can't quite do it on your own, that's okay. So I don't use the chair for too much support. I don't want to do this kind of thing, okay? So I'm just using it like 2 fingers, maybe, just enough as a guide, okay? And I come up, okay? And I'm hanging out on those toes, and then I come halfway down and all the way down. Now you can get to a point where you come up, and you smoothly go down, okay? That's okay, but in the beginning we want to do it in these stages because it just makes things a lot easier to control, okay? So I rise up, I'm on those toes, okay? I come down about halfway and all the way, okay? So again, that rise, straight up, come down, okay? Rise, come down. I can do it this way too, okay? Rise up on those toes, come down, rise, come down, okay? So, those are the basics. That is the 8 pieces of Brocade. Okay, so here's what's good to know. The first part is that every single one of these exercises is adaptable, okay? What that means is that we can adapt it for Parkinson's disease, we can adapt it for people in wheelchairs, we can adapt it for people who have limited mobility or issues with fainting and orthostatic hypotension, okay? So everything, the good news is everything is accessible to you. There's nothing that is cut off, okay? So we can always modify stuff. If anyone has any questions, feel free to ask, okay? This is this is your group, all right? We're trying to make things as interesting and as colorful as possible, okay? So your input is definitely important. What works for you, what doesn't, things like that. I'm going to keep posting stuff, but that's your Tai Chi lesson for today. Those are the 8 pieces of Brocade. You should do them in order, and you can pick one out and spend a little time with it each day if you like, or you can do them all together. It doesn't matter. People ask me how many they should do for each set. A lot of it depends on how you feel, but usually 8 to 10 or 12 to 14 is the standard, okay? Focus on the breathing. That's the big part of it, and I will check in with you guys a little bit later, okay? Have a great day. I'll talk to you guys soon.